Hey, True Believers England team here. By the way, I'm only 7 minutes late, so usually I'm 15. So I am actually 8 minutes early today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing better here, kids. I really am. Let's forget about the fact that I really should have just started at 10. I was looking for things to talk about today. And seriously, I was going over a lot of stuff and I was I'm just bored with this. I don't want to talk about how Flash is bombing. Okay, I know that people are making bank off of their videos talking about how, hey, in the third week it sucks too. Yeah, we get it. Flash is a dud, man. Fun film, enjoyed it. It's a dud. But what I did find a couple of things to talk about. First of all, I don't know if you saw this, LK, but you got to bow your head and pay your respects to one Mr. Alan Arkin. This
Oh
man
yeah, yeah, I
was a
saw it.
freaking awesome actor. Did a lot of great films. Um, has one of my favorite lines in all of moviedom. He was in Edward Scissorhands, and they just caught Edward trying to break into Michael Anthony Hall's house, and um, Anthony Hopkins and Diane Weiss is there, and Diane Weiss says, "I blame that TV." He says, "Yes." Damn that TV, damn it all to hell. And it was just his normal, just kind of even keel delivery. I love that. And I have said it so many times about so many things ever since I saw that movie. If the car breaks down, damn it all to hell. It's
Yeah,
just a great actor. Great actor has passed today. Um, Thankfully, I don't know what his politics was, but thankfully he let his acting, he let his movies do the talking. I want to do a better um, tribute to him because he's got a lot of movies. He was in a lot of movies.
hmm
The
and,
Russians are
and
coming, Freebie and the Bean, The In-Laws, of
yeah,
course,
well,
Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, and he took big role or small. You always kind of knew that Alan Arkin was in there. I mean, I remember him, as the psychiatrist for John Cusack's
Oh
character
my
in
gosh,
Original
great.
Life.
Yeah, he's like, no, don't tell me that.
No,
Yeah, John
no,
Cusack is an assassin. He's like, no,
don't
no,
don't go
don't
kill,
tell
don't
me.
kill anyone. No,
Yeah.
and hiding underneath his desk. And of course, some people have mentioned the fact he was the chief in the Get Smart movie, which is
He's
I have
got
to say,
comic book cred.
yeah, which I have to say too, is one of the lost opportunities. I legitimately liked that movie when it came out. Um, I've always kind of gotten chuckles out of it
Mhm.
when it came on. I thought Steve Carell, slightly different Maxwell Smart, but it worked.
It
You
did.
know,
I like that movie.
he bumbled, but he wasn't stupid, and that's what I really appreciated. Was he was actually intelligent, and you could think of if he didn't trip over his own 2 feet sometimes, that you could actually see him as a real agent, like in a legitimate movie. And Hathaway was good in it, the
Hmm.
whole 9 yards. But another little known, really kind of weird avant-garde movie from the either late 60s, early 70s, I believe he was in. I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure because it left an impression. Was an Elliot Gould movie called Little Murders.
No, I haven't
And
seen it.
it's a bizarre, weird movie that I remember correctly. Elliot Gould is kind of a serial killer in it, and you know, I can't remember if Alan Arkin plays his father
Well,
or the
Alan Arkin
father.
did play a killer in Wait Until Dark
Yeah,
with Audrey Hepburn. But I do want to point out that one thing we could definitely talk about is he's got geek cred because he was the mentor to the Rocketeer.
yes,
So he's actually been in a superhero film. But anyway, once again, I want to do an actual tribute going through all his films and talking about it and everything. We'll do that for what's soon to be called I Love Movies. I changed the name. I was a dumbass for it, but I'll change it back. Um, I changed it to Movie Mojo, and when I look it up, I get killed by Watch Mojo. So it's like I'm buried. So whatever. There was also something else I found, and I was looking around. I'm like, what the hell? And then I found there was a hello to Evil Black Cat. There was an article for Bleeding Cool, and it was I've got to put my glasses back on for this. It was called Comic Store in Your Future, and this guy just starts going off. I'm not talking about, he's not in a big rant or anger or anything like that. And if the title of this video gave you any idea, like that might have been the case, I apologize. You know, we do have to try to get excitement for whatever we're doing, but not necessarily clickbaiting. Everything's clickbait anyway. So this article goes on. Okay, so nope, shorten it out. There you go, so I can see comments. It goes on to say, currently the state of my comic store is good. This is, okay, first of all, it says a small comic store owner. What do I see in the current comic book market? Some strong signs, some not so strong signs. Now, I don't see a name yet. Maybe it'll say this is, by Rod Lamberti, but I don't see a comic store name. Or maybe it'll be right here if I clicked on the link.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you click on the link, and I know at different times the Bleeding Cool.
Rodman Comics is what it is. So there you go. Okay.
Let me 4th of July. I was going to just look and see where his location was.
Okay. Well, you can look
Dennis
that up.
Rodman?
Yes, Dennis Rodman has a comic book shop. Okay, so it goes to say currently the state of my comic shop is good. Some great things are going on in store. Some things that I would like to see improvements on, and things that I just flat out say, why do people come up with such bad ideas? Back issues are red hot sellers. Oh my gosh, you would never know that from all of the comments we get here on our live stream. It's getting to countless numbers of people say, you know, I just gave up on new issues. I love back issues, and why not? We've got 150 freaking years worth of comic books to read. Some of them you didn't even know were that extra 50 years. Nobody knows about the Platinum Age.
Maybe you should take advantage of that and sell some back issues, say Saturdays at 8 Central.
You know, I think I will. I think every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to have an auction. And you know what? I keep it a budget auction because I want to sell you books that you're going to like to read. And we actually talk about the books that we like to read while we're doing that. So by all means, join us Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time every week. All right. So he's saying I bought an Amazing Spider-Man collection from the 70s and 80s a few weeks ago, and those are flying out the door almost as fast as I could get them priced. That's actually what Eric says, too. Eric should be here, in all honesty, for this. I wish we could get more Iron Man and Hulk issues into the comic store from the 70s and 80s. We have customers who want them. Oddly enough, Iron Man will go, but Incredible Hulk was a hard sell for me. They move on in a hurry, and when I manage to get more in, new comic sales here in the comic store are increasingly slowing down. The recent death of Ms. Marvel and the Amazing Spider-Man was not a big deal at this store. A few people picked it up just for the death, though not many. I overordered it. The latest issues of Iron Man and Hulk are low sellers. The characters have fans, but few are interested in their latest adventures. Marvel has some odd marketing strategies. The Avengers main title didn't sell well, so what do? They come out with so many spin-offs, people are confused. Avengers Beyond, Avengers War Across Time, Avengers All Out War, and Avengers Forever. Freaking hell yes. Okay, so here's the thing. We talk about comics on occasion here, and both Eric and Venkman tell me that, oh, wow, this is a great Avengers title. I can't freaking find it. I forgot what they told me it was. Is it All Out War? Was it War Across Time? I don't remember. I honestly don't remember, so I don't take a chance on any of them because bad Marvel is so freaking bad anymore. And let's see, Green Lantern Hal Jordan is back. DC had a promotional rings for the first issue. People who did buy the first issue were surprised about the rings when we gave them out. I just figured they gave so many out a long time ago that they're still working on the same supply because they look exactly the same. Did you get one of these Green Lantern rings there, LK or Black Cat?
No, but my LCS got one for Blackest Night.
Yeah.
Like they're still trying to sell one of those packets. Like
Yeah.
there's about 50 of them in that packet. They have
Yeah.
been stuck with that since Blackest Night.
Yep.
Yeah, no, DCBS wasn't including those in the box when I was buying new comics.
Go figure. Yeah, like I said, I just kind of figured it was the Blackest Night stuff. They started doing that back in the day. Yeah, right. Let's see. The new stuff is just hit or miss to me, says Patrick Sargent. They're and 70s Iron Man and Hulk. They're good stuff. What you mean making your fans enemies? You will lost money. What was before the woke took over? That we're gonna get to that. This is something actually I've been talking about since when did I start this channel? 2016 now? 2017?
Something
Around
like
there. I think I started in 2016, but I didn't take it seriously until 2017. I did like politics and shit and all that kind of stuff. I hope Disney just gave the rights to Spider-Man, Avengers, X-Men, and a lot of those lawsuits failed there, James Ackrup. The only one that's still going is Steve Ditko. They're not letting go. All right, let's move on. Here we are. The renumbering of first issues has had fewer and fewer returns for sales over time and is not boosting sales numbers nearly as much in years past. We talked about this just in a recent live stream, how every jumping on point also is a jumping off point. And at a certain point in time, it's like, why bother? Especially if all they're going to do is reboot, then why bother? I mean, we see it actually. I argue against it with the movies. James Gunn comes out and you guys lose interest in the movies that are left, and I was like, wait a second, these could be standalone, but I mean, LK, I got to say, it's a little bit connected there. You get a jumping off point is jumping on point. If it happens too many times, and how many times the DCEU rebooted already or been announced to be rebooting?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, certainly. I think we've talked about this, and I think it works a little bit different with the movies, but again, part of the movies is kind of getting that anticipation, and the more often that your idea of the universe fails, that anticipation, and interest continues to drop. And then, therefore, if you're going to make the movie, you want to make it good, but then you have to hope for, good word of mouth to, drive sales. People, still kind of forget, like with the Marvel movies. I mean, they didn't exactly necessarily hit home runs right out of the gate. And there were a lot of up and down misfires. For every X-Men movie, there was a Daredevil or an Elektra movie sprinkled in there, and it really wasn't until kind of Spider-Man and then Spider-Man 2 that it really sort of took off and gave him the impetus then for Iron Man. But that's something else we can talk about in terms of just the really interesting things of seeing what the history was of the MCU and seeing how they've basically just tossed all that aside now, and what they're doing moving forward.
Yeah. So I got them, and I've been wanting to catch up with everything. I still haven't read the Cyborg #1. I still haven't read the Teen Titans or Brave and the Bold. Those were the ones that I was interested in. And when they passed, I gotta tell you, I really didn't have enough excitement to go back and I guess when I buy them and I bring them home, okay, but I'm not running out to the comic book shop every Wednesday anymore. I just don't have that in me anymore. There's a warehouse sale, and this warehouse sale is going to get me a lot of back issues. It's going to get me a lot of trade paperbacks, and it's going to get me stuff that I can sell at the auction. That's where I go. I don't want to go to buy new books anymore. I will, but I got to tell you, sometimes even when it comes to stuff I like the World's Finest and such, I feel more like I'm buying it out of obligation than anything else. That is just the way it is.
Mhm.
Hello to Dalton, the Authenticator. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing fine. But
Mhm.
I wanted to add something about the whole movies versus comics sort of discourse here.
Go on ahead.
And the thing I think you're kind of overlooking when you say, well, why are you guys unhappy with all these standalones? It's because
I didn't make that voice.
it,
Go on ahead.
it,
Just keep
it's
going.
because continuity is part of what makes comics special.
Mhm.
And it's a sort of version of the old adage, a rising tide carries all ships. Well, you might not care about one character or another character, but if it's all building to something, if it's all interwoven, then you still have a reason to check it out. And even if the individual movies aren't as good as, a classic every single time, the fact that they can kind of leech off each other's quality so that even the only okay ones like Age of Ultron, um, even something like Captain Marvel can at least go, yeah, but the quality will reach a kind of equilibrium at some point. Whereas if they all start sucking, like or at least trending towards sucking like they are now, you get the inverse effect. That way, even a good one gets yoinked because, well, the last three have been not okay, or the last three have had issues that nobody liked, or what have you.
Well, of course, prices are also being brought up right now, and they're right. I mean, $4.99, $5.99; those are the average prices now. And as it's also being pointed out, you can get a good vintage. Once again, I'm going to shill. My prices on the auction start at $1. I go $1, $2, $3, $5, and then I've got sets and big dogs. Sets are they might not be just a mini series; they might actually be a run of a popular series. Like I've got some Green Arrow books, 4 through 52, that I was thinking of selling as one big ass set. Yeah, the thing is for the same price, for $5, I know right now I can go into my comic shop retail and buy a good run of Power Man and Iron Fist. I'm not going to be able to get, of course, the key issues, but the random issues, $5 to $6.
Or a decent trade is what, like 10, $11, sometimes 15, if it's a really big deal sort of story. That's literally the cost of 3 books. Three books, modern day retail books. You can save up the price of 3 of them, and you can get a trade, which is 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 issues of a much better comic with much better art and much better writing. So
the what really got me not wanting to buy new books anymore is I knew I had a big ass stack waiting for me. I hadn't gone to the comic shop in a while, so I just walked up the counter. Please give me my new books. I didn't go check out the back issues, and I plopped down $100 worth of new books. So it should have been a lot bigger, and it really was maybe about 15, 20 books tops. So I'd buy the books and I put them on my car, and I'm going to go check out what back issues they are. Now I just spent my allowance, and by the way, no, Gail doesn't give me an allowance. You put aside the money for all the shit you need. That's what I call it, my allowance. And I walked through, and there is a fucking Daredevil number goddamn 2 for $100. Not the greatest shape in the world, but I don't care. I want a run of Daredevil. And it was $100. So I'm like, okay, if it's here next week, I'm getting that bitch. And it was not. And I thought, wow, I spent all that money on 20 freaking books when that are going to be inconsequential. When I could have had Daredevil number 2.
one that actually matters.
Speaking
Yeah.
of number twos, Glinster has put a $2 super
Oh,
chat.
hey, yes, and thank you very much to Glinzer for our trade paperbacks and Omnis factored into sales numbers. They're their own thing.
Yeah, it's their own thing. They're not factored into individual issue sales at all.
If you can go to, there's a website called Comicron. They've been following. Now they're behind a bit. It's like this month will be last month or the month before, so they don't have up to the minute. But
they've gotten pretty screwed over with the distribution changes. I mean, they've not been getting good numbers.
I haven't looked at them in a while. So are they even worse than that?
I'm not sure if they were getting any numbers from Penguin Random House, because I know basically more or less what they were doing was they were able to kind of just take the Dynamite numbers. It was one of the few positives in terms of having a single distribution, since basically the companies don't need to announce how many copies. It's not like the old days where, because it was on the newsstand and considered a periodical, that they had to annually publish that little indice on the one page saying how many issues they printed per year or per month of each book. So I know it's definitely become a real challenge for them. I know they were having problems trying to get numbers from Lunar for DC as well. So I haven't looked at them in a few months.
Oh, by the way, just a little side note before we continue. This is Twiddles. For those of you who do not know, that's the noise. If you are new, this is the noise you're hearing in the background. It's my boy. I love my bird. He's really cool to me. I'm not getting rid of him, and I will not be shooting the bird. But I did get a comment. God bless him. I appreciate you trying to listen in. A lot of people who've been here, as I said before, actually don't hear the bird, or at least they stopped commenting on him.
He's the channel's mascot at this point. Let's face it.
Seriously, I would like to change my my profile to include him, as a matter of fact. But there you go. And I did not name him.
Donkey.
Say again.
And a very terrified donkey as well.
Yes. I didn't name him. It was supposed to be my daughter's, so they bought him, and he hates pins, and they named him Twiddles. So there you go. But yes, I am not going to be getting rid of my bird, and I apologize to anybody who I have given headaches to for that. Alrighty.
Which does sometimes include his fellow panelists, in case you're curious.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so it goes on to say, so much product is coming out so quickly as I write this. A new Pokemon set came out Friday. HeroClix had a new set called the Avengers 60th Anniversary out on Wednesday. Next Friday is yet another new Magic the Gathering set. The good news is this set looks much more popular with players and collectors than the last set, which was a total money grab. The set was called March of the Machine Aftermath. It cost the same as regular packs did in the past. The catch, far fewer cards in each pack than before. Aftermath went over like a lead balloon. Boxes of it can be bought for less online with free shipping than I can buy directly from the vendors, which is how bad that set did. The only good news I see is hopefully this clear message to the makers of Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, not to try such a painfully obvious cash grab again. This is actually something that I'm seeing. I know my comic shop sells. They've got right now they've got 4 rows, and they're pretty big rows. You guys, I did a tour of my comic shop. I am blessed with an overabundance of comic shop. It's huge.
Unlike you will be in Illinois.
Yeah, I told Gail, I said the one thing that really is making me not want to move is because not only do I have the comic shop that I used to work at that I've been friends with for 30 years, but they know me. You know,
you can't put a price on reputation.
We have done business together, me and this comic shop, quite a bit. When I wanted to do a shop in the 90s, I had a shop at the flea market, and I said, hey, look, I do you have overstock? Do you have something that you want to get rid of for cheap? I need comics to sell at my shop. If you have, and they made a deal. So I've been doing this with them for quite a while, and I certainly appreciate it. Yeah, I don't want to go to Indiana and lose that.
Yeah,
Plus our MegaCon is better than whatever's up there.
I still simp for my comic shop that I had during college, and I haven't, I left it behind when I left college because it's over in Dayton, Ohio, and I'm in Pennsylvania now. So, yeah, I understand the loyalty of one's comic shop. By the way, anyone who's in the Fairborn, Dayton area, check out Bell Book and Comic. It's awesome.
Oh, Glenzer, by the way, he says the value of Omnis seemed to go up more than comics. I have Omnis for Spectre and Legion of Superheroes Volume 2. At Ollie's, they had Legion of Superheroes Volume 1 and Volume 3, so I picked them both up. Instantly went to eBay. I'm going to get number 2 and have the set, and that bitch is $300 freaking dollars, man.
You have an omnibus for the Spectre.
I know, right? Isn't that
awesome? Is it the Ostrander run? Because I have been wanting to get my hands on the Ostrander run of the Spectre since Englentine recommended it to me, I think back in 2018.
Pretty badass.
It's out of print and I hate it. I hate it so much.
Patrick Sargent is saying, bird, bird, bird. The bird is a word. Bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word. Yeah, we're talking about you. Come on over.
Yeah.
Shut up, Peter.
Let's see. What's up?
You should be able to track down the single issues for that run fairly easily.
I know, right?
I want it in omnibus format. Individual issues are for collecting. For actual reading, I always go omnibuses or trades.
Okay.
I dig them. Let's see. That's a lot of comics hitting the floor. You can't like that. I know, right? When I see a photo like this or when my room turns like this, I'm like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do for money? That would be actually me. If too many comics hit the floor, I lay under them and cry. What am I gonna do? Okay. Let's see, Marvel. So by all means, please join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time for our comic book auction and get some of these back issues that we're talking about. It's going to be a blast. All right. Plus we talk and we have a great time. It's a great chat. Let's see. Marvel decided to copy DC with various foil cover variants. No problem. Some people like them. Marvel decided to have either a meager discount for this. We did do a video on. This sucks.
I hate variant covers. I hate them so much.
But Marvel decided to have either a meager discount for foils or none at all, meaning the cover price is what the store pays for them. That is pretty weird idea. I don't understand why Marvel, who had a mess when they did lenticular covers years ago, decided to make another mess of gimmick covers. To make things even more complicated, days before the cutoff to order the foil reprint of Wolverine's first appearance in Hulk 181, Penguin showed the discount for stores ordering it at 50%, while it is being reported that is not the case. I just double-checked Penguin, and it still says 50% off, so fingers crossed. I feel bad for the comic stores who ordered it, thinking they were going to get it for half cover price, and then get the bill show up with no discount. And that's a Marvel decision, by the way. This also puts comic stores in a bad situation. We could change the price, so selling Marvel foil variants is profitable by bagging and boarding them and setting a new price on them. Then we can listen to people get angry that something that just was released, we raised the above cover price because they will assume they were bought with the store's regular discount. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Marvel, who freaking desperately needs comic shops. Remember, we're not Marvel and DC's customers. The comic shops are. Period. Let's see. Marvel should follow what DC does with foils and increase the cover price to factor in the normal profit margin stores should get for selling their product. The message as a business owner that I get out of this is to push DC foil variants over Marvel foil variants. When ordering a DC foil variant, we get 55% off. To make it even more confusing, most Marvel various foil covers have no discounts from the cover price, while one does have a discount ordering Star Wars Dark Droids #1 foil variant. Stores get a 16% discount. Why? Who came up with that idea? And again, why? That's just dumbass. Why would you not give the? If I were the comic shops, no, I'm not carrying it. Why should
Can we just stop with foil covers altogether and variant covers altogether? Like, variant covers almost destroyed the industry back in the day, and we're still freaking doing it. I hate it so much.
Oh, earlier,
variant covers have actually gone up 100-fold from the time it quote unquote destroyed the industry.
Yes, and again, why? Why do we do it? Why is it continuing to happen?
I'm not gonna lie. I have sold variant covers in the auction, and I will continue to do. However, I have been able to get a huge discount on them. So, while they were selling for $15 and $20, I might sell them for 10 and under.
Yeah.
The last time I had some variants last week, I sold them all for $5 each. And these were books that were going for $15, $20, $30. So,
and apart from my just general hatred of the concept of variant covers, it also incentivizes a lack of quality, because in theory, it should be that whatever the best cover is for the book goes on the book and then gets applied to all the books. But with variant covers existing, what it amounts to is you'll get the highest tier of variant cover being the cover that the book should probably just have in general, and then every other cover being shit.
Yeah, it also used to be where it was like Wolverine #50 or She-Hulk #25 or something like that would get a variant. She-Hulk #50,
milestone covers, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't like there's now 6 or 7 different covers for every goddamn issue. It seems like there's definitely 2. Anymore, you got the stock card variant and the regular. It's at the very least, which they bump up $1. But as far as the big variants, it used to be a special issue that would hit. Now, I think one of the ones that I sold last week for $5, not for the 15 or 20 it was asked. I sold a Vampirella #11. A Vampirella #11. Now, granted, very happy to sell it. Very happy to have it. I'm glad it sold. It's amazing to me they were asking $20. It was Vampirella #11.
Well,
it didn't say special issue. It was just there.
I think you need to separate the variant issue, for lack of a better term, between independents, small publishers versus Marvel and DC. Because, the smaller publishers, have had variants in multiple variants for every issue for the last 30 years, 35 years. I mean, I remember in the 90s buying, indies from was it Avatar Press that, had multiple variants. I mean, that's part of their business model. The Marvel and DC stuff is much more, insidious.
Yeah.
Because at the same time too, with those, when those, come out, people know what they're buying, with Vampirella, with Dynamite, there's going to be multiple covers, that there's going to be some, 1 in 20s, 1 in 50s, and you have, can choose to do that or not. And, the thing is, in the most cases, like the comic book shop isn't feeling, I have to get this. It's usually essentially, okay, if, somebody's going to order this and they order it and order whatever else has to come along to get it. So I think slightly different. I mean, Zenescope does the same thing.
See, I don't hold with encouraging it at all. In my opinion, like I say, the best cover goes on the book and it goes on all the books. Deal with it. Like that's where I'm at with it.
I will say this. We're bitching about it here. Okay, we're talking about it, whatever you want to say. But ultimately, it's only a problem if you still feel that you need to get everything. Back in the collector day, I know I was one of the people who, I need to get every cover. Look, you got Legends of the Dark Knight come out. It's 5 different colors on their on the book. You have to get all the colors, right? I mean,
See,
you had to.
I was never that kind of collector. I just dislike it in principle because every subpar variant you're doing is a cover that probably shouldn't have been, and the one cover that you're asking people to pay oodles and oodles and oodles of money for is the one cover that should have went on the book in the first fucking place.
Well, first of all, you were sperm when that book came out, so you
Well,
wouldn't have bought it
yeah,
anyway.
but you know
But,
what I'm saying. My
there's
concern
actually a
isn't a
reason.
practical one; it's a
I've been
principled
looking
one.
up because I was a long time ago. I was commissioned to do a video, a history of variant covers, and the history of the Batman cover is thus: Batman. This was going to be the first ongoing comic series since the Batman, because he started in Detective and then the Batman. And so they wanted to make a big deal out of it. The movie was coming out, or maybe it just came out. Forget the timetable right now. And Batman was huge, freaking huge. And so they're like, okay, cool. We got this new title. And the brass at DC Comics did make a good decision because they looked at it. And if you see the front cover of Batman Legends of the Dark Knight #1, Batman's really not on it. And they were saying, what the fuck you doing? We need a cover that shows this is a Batman book. So all those purple things are kind of in the shape of the bat cowl. They put that on so it would be recognized more as a Batman book. And that was the function of the 5 covers. They just didn't know what color should we go for. And then they said, okay, go for all of them. So there you go. What's up, MK? How you doing? I have not yet seen Indiana Jones. I will be seeing Indiana Jones. I'm going in with a open yet incredibly cynical mind. I wish I wasn't. You guys, as Dalton and I share a movie channel together, and you guys know I am the nice guy. I don't have hope for Indiana Jones. I really don't.
Have the lowest of low expectations, and maybe you won't get mad about it.
Maybe I won't. But here's the thing. You know what? Since we're on this subject, fine. Let's shift over to new subject. Okay, we're off the old. Here we go. Okay. All this talk. First of all, I don't celebrate a movie bombing. I really wanted Flash to do well. I didn't care about Elementals, but it didn't do anything. So I'm not like, yay, Elementals bombed. That's a suck way to go about life. That being said, I hope the distributors get into a fucking car wreck and cannot deliver that abomination of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon that they are trying to push on us. Have you seen the
new
preview
one
for that shit?
I saw one trailer for it. So again, this is a situation. This is where, I get angry when people get upset about, oh, why do you care about such and such a character? In this case, I don't necessarily care about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was something that I didn't really grow up with outside of reading some of the early issues with the comics and watching the original cartoon every now and then. Yeah, I saw the trailer. It didn't look good to me. But I don't.
You liked it that much?
I don't have a dog in the fight. At the same time, I have no problem with somebody who is completely upset that this is ruining their childhood or just terrible takes on the characters. Or
Okay,
whatever.
hold on.
Because they're far more vested in the character, and they completely have that right.
Let's take that trailer and let's make April the skinny white girl that she is. Still looks like it's going to be ass.
Well, okay.
It just no.
Well,
That's
the
one
voice-
thing a
the
lot of
voices
people are
don't sound
complaining
good.
about, which I can understand, is not the big problem. This is a problem with animation. This is a problem with story. This is a problem with dialogue. This goes deep.
May I speak to that, please?
Let me finish my sentence here.
Sorry.
Little Mermaid was a race swap. okay, fine. Once the movie came out, stop complaining it's a race swap. We know it is. Review what's on the screen. But judging by the preview, the writing, the cinematography, the animation, everything looks like it's going to suck. Okay,
Mhm.
John, go on ahead.
And if I may put a fine point on as to why, because this is a trend I've been noticing in a lot of things. In particular, the first thing that pops into my head is the new Velma show. The trend I've noticed is they will put writers in charge of IPs who want to write cynical parodies of the IPs. But rather than having them make a parody of the IPs, they just put them in charge of the IPs, and the writers write it as the cynical parody they always wanted to write of the thing. But the problem being is you can do parodies outside of a given universe or lampooning a given universe. But when you start using parody logic inside, especially politically or philosophically motivated parody logic, inside an IP, you are actively spiting it. And you're spiting the people who enjoy the IP. You're spiting basically any semblance of profitability, because if the hardcore fans don't show up, then the casuals certainly won't. And you're spiting the fact basically that the IP has existed for however long it's existed for. Like with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's existed since 70s, 80s, and so on. Scooby-Doo has existed since the 60s, Doctor Who even longer than that, and so on and so on and so forth. Like, it should be applauded. IPs have existed for so long, but instead we get this cynical, again, parody logic, but in the actual IP for some freaking reason.
Well, there's the cynicism, and then there's also the other trend, which is hiring people that have no love or knowledge of the IP, but
or have an axe to grind with it.
They get hired for it, and then decide to just graft their own story on it. I mean, a classic case is the recent She-Ra show. Noelle Stevenson claims she was a She-Ra person or whatever. Complete BS. She had a different story she wanted to tell. She couldn't sell it. They gave her the opportunity and somehow, one way or the other, she got offered the She-Ra and said, "Hey, I can graft my own story on these characters." And so, and again, this goes back to Marvel, and it's amazing how they have completely abandoned what made things work. You look at the reason why Iron Man was successful is because you had people that were comic book fans that had knowledge of the comic books make
Iron Man. I gotta say, Iron Man ultimately was the death of what we love. I mean, God bless you. I love that movie, man. Yeah. But that brought in the normies, and you're right. It went from people who love the characters to people who just want a job.
Yeah, well, and what's really amazing is at some point Kevin Feige lost his way. I'm sorry, I'm calling it that way. Whether he got mesmerized by Hollywood and got pulled into that culture or whatever, because reading this one book, he worked on the Fox X-Men films because he was a comic book fan, and he read every single X-Men to prepare and to help out on that production of the X-Men books. And they hired Jon Favreau because he was a fan of comics. But now, I mean, hell, you had the recent director or showrunner of Secret Invasion come out and say, "Yeah, they told me not to read the comic book series."
Yeah, that just about gave me a brain aneurysm, because when the MCU used to be successful, it was basically mandatory reading when they hired a director or writer or whoever, that they would literally give them a trove full of whatever character's books and be like, "Here, read this as you're writing the script, or read this as you're figuring out shots and so forth." But now it's gone the exact opposite way, where it's like it's actually seen as a detriment if you're a fan of the comics, because then you might actually give a crap about loyalty to the IP, which is apparently a sin now.
It seems to have been becoming that. As far as the TV and the movies, of course, She-Hulk with their story, that wasn't a She-Hulk story. That was somebody who didn't understand what She-Hulk was.
That was somebody who wanted a feminist show and wanted to take some pot shots at Gary and Doomcock while they were at it.
Yeah. Hello to Cartoon and Comics. You said you have some information about 2017 to 2020.
2017 to 2020 was when HBO created their.
Oh, hold on just a sec. Cartoons, is there a way you could turn up your volume? You're really quiet.
You're low, man.
1 second.
Yeah. Let's see. They sold out. For
Are you
service.
hearing me now?
There we go.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good.
Success.
Oh, okay. The mic. The thing is, during this period, and especially during the pandemic, they turned the streaming stuff for 100, and they approved every show, even when they didn't have the executives or the producers, and they pick up anyone, even people we've had friends in HR, they picked up for the shows. I think it's a level of incompetence what we're seeing, because anyone could enter, and so long you had contact with the right people in Hollywood, you would get the show done.
Well,
Like the producer of Netflix from Shira, she was friendly with someone who works from a company of marketing. How the hell that happened?
yeah. Oh yeah, no, she had very few accomplishments before getting the She-Ra. Plus, I think either Netflix or somebody affiliated to them who was running the animation side was very pro-feminist. We need to get more women in animation type stuff and steered things that way. But yeah, I mean that's true, and this is one of the things you're seeing, why the writers are still on strike. All of these writers' rooms got horribly bloated and we're finding out, basically the untalented ones are going to get left out in the dust.
We can only hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it'll shake out because, I mean, definitely whatever happens, you're going to have smaller writer rooms to start with. And so those people are going to leave. But,
it's funny because so many of the writers that we, cringe at for ruining things got their jobs during the last writer's strike when all the good writers went, we want to be paid for what we're worth. And yet somehow, instead of the modern day writers being grateful for their stroke of luck, they got it in their heads that they're just as valid as the good writers with the actual skills. And so they thought to themselves, if we went on strike, people would side with us just like they sided with the actual skilled people. And, they were in for a rude awakening when it turned out that the reaction was more or less, goodbye, please screw off, don't come back, we won't be needing you anymore.
Okay.
Because they're not good at their job.
Hold on, I don't recognize this name here, but we got somebody called Pisswiff Art. I'm not going to call you Pisswiff. Let's just call you Art 1999. Hello.
Hello, this is Patrick.
Hey,
Sergeant.
okay. See, Patrick is so much better than Pisswiff. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing
All
pretty
right.
good. I didn't mean to interrupt what you guys were talking about.
Oh, it's okay. That's okay. Join in if you got something to say.
How do you turn this one off for the StreamYard?
Oh, say again?
How do you turn off the StreamYard? Do you X out of it?
How do you turn off the StreamYard? What do you mean, for the volume?
You should just close. You could just close the window and it'll let you out if you're wanting to get out.
Yeah.
No.
You didn't. You're more than welcome to stay if you want. Okay, yeah. If you're feeling uncomfortable being on the mic, that's fine. I've got a remove button. This is not personal. It seems like you want to bounce. If I'm wrong, feel free to come right back. This has always been an open mic where everybody is welcome. So yeah, if you want to come back on, just give me a message. It's up to you. I've always had an open mic. So if you do want to jump on and join the conversation, feel free. But I understand some people aren't public speakers. So
Yeah, I think he might have clicked the link without realizing what he was doing.
I think so too. That might have happened, but yeah, once again, it sounded like he wanted to be removed. I did not remove him out of any malice or anything like that. Patrick, you're more than welcome to come back whenever you feel. There you go.
So I wanted to ask you one question with the TMNT trailer. So
Yeah.
Did the animation look more just like generic CGI, or were they trying to go for a Spider-Man across the
It looked more to me. I was bothered with it. Yes, it looked. Now I haven't seen it since the first, but it looked more traditional. But it looked like it was just so aimed for kids.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't working for me. It just looks horrible to me.
Here's the really funny thing. There's already been a new version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for kids that Nickelodeon was doing a couple of years ago. So even the target demographic for this coming movie isn't going to enjoy it because even they have their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For me, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the 2003 to 2005 one that was more, of a serious action cartoon take on the Turtles. But
I love the robot episode in that one. The Android one was super cool.
Yeah, well, because I brought that up because, again, I mean, one of the other things that Hollywood is well known for is being copycats. And, when, Hollywood sees something that's successful, from a surface level, they will look, other studios will look to do, their copycat version. So
especially now that it's been successful twice, once with the Spider-Verse movies and now with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Let me, by the way,
there is the same technology probably.
I'm going to represent the old farts in the audience. This is the frickin' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, these are them right here, in glorious black and white frickin' awesomeness.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we know, but there have been so many generations.
I know. Actually, I am a closeted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I don't know why it's closeted.
Well, if I could find it, I'd go find my I think it's third print of issue number 3. But yeah,
woo, that's a good book to have.
But and this goes in talking about the copycats again. I mean, one of the issues, and you talked about movies with the jumping on and jumping off points. When Marvel started, and Feige is on record saying this, they had no plans for this connected universe. Their whole goal was to make one good movie and then make another good movie, because if they didn't make pay Merrill Lynch $525 million after 4 movies, they lost the rights to basically all the Avengers characters and about 5 or 6 more.
You guys want to know my sincere opinion? I think they made a movie, Iron Man 2008, to compete against Batman, who was going the same year. It was a huge success, but they didn't pretend. Because...
No.
They wouldn't have any idea. Oh, sorry.
I mean, at least in the story I had, I mean, it was kind of a combination of things, and maybe that was part of, might have been part of the decision making in terms of the release schedule. But they were seeing success, with Spider-Man and with X-Men, but Perlmutter et al. Kind of wanted more of the money because, for example, I think X-Men 2 in the book, said it did over like $250 million or whatever. Marvel saw like 10 million. They did not make much money off of the huge successes of the Spider-Man movies and the X-Men movies. It did move merchandise, which is what Perlmutter liked about it.
Yeah, I still have my 5 Iron Man toys here from the first movie.
Yeah,
God bless geekhood. We can be surrounded by all this childish and still be cool.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the short story, essentially what happened was Avi Arad with another guy named Maisel was able to convince Perlmutter and people in New York, that hey, we need to have more control over the movies. Perlmutter was adamant about not putting any of his own money into it, which is where it led to making this deal with Merrill Lynch, where Merrill Lynch said, "Yeah, we'll give you $525 million. You have to make, 4 movies, and here's the list of characters." Basically, they agreed upon to make 4 movies from any of these characters. But if you didn't make your money and pay us back by the end of the 4th movie, we get to keep those characters. And by keep, it's not just movie rights; it's the entire rights to the character. So, literally, when people talk about, oh yeah, Marvel had everything on the line. Well, they kind of did with that. And I mean, what's kind of interesting with the story is at the same time they were filming and working on Iron Man, they were also working on another film. And actually, do you know what the second film is in the Marvel Studios?
Incredible Hulk.
Yep. And you can ask yourself, what if Hulk actually got done first, and that had been the first Marvel movie to come out instead of Iron Man?
It would have doomed the whole thing right then and there. But the interesting thing is that while that may be the business side conversation, Kevin Feige had been trying to basically launch an interconnected universe for Marvel since the X-Men and Spider-Man, to the point that, as everyone I'm sure knows at this point, there's a deleted scene from Spider-Man 2 where they're throwing around names for Doc Ock, and Doctor Strange gets thrown out, and JJ says it's good, but it's taken, and therefore Raimi versus Doctor Strange confirmed.
Hello to glorified art forms. What's up? Oh, okay. Let's see. There was your brother from Mars mentioned, guys, comic sales are way up. Just look at all the manga. Once again, a while back, I made a video. I've done this long enough. I've done all the videos. It kills me. Sometimes I joke around that Perch and what's his name?
What,
the
Zach?
Ripper?
No, the dude with the beard.
Wesley.
That guy,
Wesley.
Wes.
Thinking critical.
Sometimes I joke around that they just took my video idea and so forth and so on. I've done it all. They are rehashing videos that we have done it's the same old argument 4 or 5 years later. One of the things we had to talk about, we had to suffer through is it's not so much writers and artists, but it's editors. A long time ago, I had an argument with CB Cebulski about this. They were talking, well, there's 450 bajillion, gajillion, trillion, McMillion females out there waiting to read comic books. They're interested in comic books. So you guys don't matter no more. My argument was 2 things. One, you don't get rid of the customers you have in the hand for the customers with a bush. You don't do that. You want to make sure that you can cultivate, you can keep our interest while you're cultivating theirs. 2, the gajillion, majillion, quadrillion females that he was talking about were freaking manga readers. And they thought, oh, well, we'll just get them over reading American comics by making American comics boring as fuck.
Well, but that's the end part there is the important part. If they made them good, then no one would care. But they didn't.
A lot of people like the hero's journey, but a lot of the girls, a lot of the females writing comics, like Tom King, they believe that women just want to sit around and talk about. Do you know what? Holy shit! I broke the fucker down. I'm going to be doing a reading of it. But did you guys read Wonder Woman 800? The introduction of the new Wonder Woman.
Oh God, yes, and it's
that's all I read out of the 800. I'm going to be doing a read through. Probably have it out on Sunday. It's one panel. Instantly, one panel. She's a bitchy, unlikable character. Oh, I'm better than everybody about everything, about blah, 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 blah.
I
hate you.
I'd use a certain term if I was British, but I'll just leave it at that.
You know
Wanker?
what? I do like bundt cake. Bunt is the way to go. As a matter of fact, if she were a cake, she'd be a bunt.
Yeah.
An absolute 100% bunt.
The internet way of getting around this, folks, is a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's
There you go.
that's boring. No, it was funny when I saw the panel going around. It was. I've become trained enough. It's like, okay, maybe not. Let me go see
Oh no,
you
it's
know,
the whole
what
story.
the context is. And oh yeah, no, that panel, that page that was going around on Twitter when it came out is absolutely representative of the rest of that story.
It really is. It's absolutely 100%. That's the story. The story is that she of all cakes is a bunt.
Yeah.
It's social justice protagonist writing 101. And we know it is because if anyone remembers Avatar: The Legend of Korra, the sequel show that never should have existed, her first line is, "I'm the Avatar and you've got to deal with it." And she's and there have been so many SJW protagonists that are literally just that over and over and over again. I am entitled to this because X, and don't you deny me because Y, and rinse and repeat forever.
I blame the editors because
Oh, absolutely.
how the hell that pass for them?
Oh
Yeah, the editors and
that's true, but in
DC
this
are the
case,
worst.
I mean, it's Tom
Some of
King,
them.
and we've seen Tom King surpasses editors right now because once upon a time he actually sold a few books, and so he still has credibility certainly within DC. I'm sure that it was like a combination, but I'm
Tom King
pretty
an Apple
sure.
baby?
I am pretty sure, based on Tom King's previous work, that this was mostly his idea. And I mean, again, she is the bestest ever.
It is his
I'm getting the dialogue, by the way.
You had to love the fact that she's mastered both the golden lasso and the black lasso and some other lasso that I'd never even heard of before. Granted, I'm not steeped in Wonder Woman lore, but it was just like.
Yep. Just like Korra
First of all, I would
mastered
like to
fire
point
and
out,
water before anything else.
I'm going to point out a couple of things. Tom King is not an original writer. The big book that everybody was praising him on, that Supergirl book, was True Grit. Absolutely. Look at what he's writing. Look where he's going. He takes a lot of stuff from a lot of people. They're sitting there, they're waiting for her, and he says, I can see the moon and everywhere. I cannot see her. And then she shows up, and he's like, how did you do that? That is straight up from the Justice League, where Batman sneaks up behind Superman and Martian Manhunter. Straight up stolen from that. Okay. Then, of course, she says, Sirius, why is it so hard to get you boys to do anything, right? And Damian as Batman says, you're late. John Kent as Superman says, how? I didn't see you. And this is literally what she says. I'm late because I was fighting 12 deities. Okay, so on her way somewhere, she fought 12 gods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and we don't see that in the issue because
why? Show don't tell.
There's the story.
But right there, she is absolutely Mary Sue. And then she says, and you didn't see me because I don't know, like better than you at all the things. Is this news that I don't regret, but you probably do? So I'm sorry about you doing the regretting. If that helps, if it doesn't, that's not on me.
Oh God, the Buffy speak. I can't.
That's literally the dialogue. And then she walks away and she says, anyway, hurry it up, will you? The magic cave of death or whatever is right over here, but the spell I just got to open it is tied to the sun's reflection on the water. And you may or may not know that the sun actually moves, so we don't have all day to diddle-doddle on your weird hang-ups. And then Batman says, this is your fault, you spoiled her. And
you don't have to read the whole thing, but yeah.
Okay, and then this is her next dialogue. Boys, if you'd like to stay behind and be all
screen share this if you're going to go on with it.
Oh, did I blank out?
You
You're not
screen share. So if you're gonna read the whole thing, then just screen share
this. Wait, hold on. You want me to screen share it? Okay.
If we're basically doing the bad comic beatdown, then let's do it. Yeah, like we did with the Punisher book.
Well, we're going to do that for something else here also. This is the scene we were talking about. I can see the moon and everywhere else, and I cannot see her. So try to be patient, Mr. Adult. I think it's going to be. And then, of course, what? You're just standing here staring into space with all we've got to do? Seriously, why is it so hard to get you boys to do anything right? And I get the splash page and all. That's not too bad. People do that. You're late. How? I didn't see you. Straight up Batman. Straight up Batman from the Tower of Babylon. Absolutely. I'm late because I was fighting 12 deities, and that takes a little time. Please forgive me. I regret it so.
Why isn't that the story we're reading?
I know.
Why
right?
isn't she takes down 12 deities the story we're and this is the other annoying social justice
Well,
habit
they
they
only
have.
have 8 pages, by the way.
Rather than actually tell the story about the things that happen, they tell the story of the slice of life stuff that happens in between the stuff people actually give a shit about.
Yeah.
Well, and even the reader in a Valley Girl accent.
And you didn't see me because I'm like, I don't know, like better than you at all things. Is this news that I don't regret you, but you probably do. So I'm sorry, but you're doing all the regretting. If that helps, if it doesn't, that's not on me.
Jesus
Hurry it up
Christ.
anyway. Hurry it up, will you? The magic cave of death or whatever is right over here, but the spell I just got to open it is tied to the sun's reflection on the water. And you may or may not know that the sun's actually moves. So we don't have all day to diddle doddle on your weird hangups.
Yeah.
And of course they talk about how she acts like a bitch, but John Kent's like, it's because you wanted to take her on a battle with Killer Croc. Anyway, her next dialogue, boys, if you'd like to stay behind and be all craven, that's perfectly fine. Don't be ashamed or anything. Sadly, I don't have the time right now to dig a hole in the sand for you to stick your heads in. So you'll have to do that part on your own. But rest assured, I have full confidence in your ability to get it done. And then, oh, by the way, and I will ask why, but they ended up naming her Elizabeth Marston. I'm like, why?
Oh, yeah.
What does Marston have to do with her? I mean, I know what Marston has to do with Wonder Woman.
No,
we all know that, but
that's
what
just
does
that's
Marston
just
have to
Tom
do with
King, that's just Tom King or the editors thinking they're being clever. Oh, we're going to give her the middle name of the creator of Wonder Woman.
it just it just there's no narrative reason for her to have that name.
No.
You want to know the worst part of this?
What's up?
The interaction between John, Damian, and the daughter.
Yeah.
Lizzie?
Tom King based it on his kids.
Ugh.
I hate this so much.
How his
Did
youngest
he
daughter
actually
is
Jesus
constantly.
Christ.
Did he actually say that in an interview?
Yeah, he said like the idea is because his youngest kid is much younger than the older 2 kids who were closer to age. So this is how his kid's supposed to act around her older sibling.
Oh my gosh. So anywho,
Somebody
They
needs
show
She's
up to
lucky
these
she's a
statues.
girl, or she'd get the shit kicked out of her.
They go up to these
Can I
statues
say
and
something?
oh, go on ahead.
I'm the youngest. If I talk like that with my older brothers, I will not have a good time.
Yeah.
And again, if she was a man, that is the reaction she would be getting. But she's a woman,
Yeah.
so entitled woman card.
So she sacrifices Superman to this. It's supposed to hurt when you touch it. And then she sacrifices Batman to the next one where he's in an endless fight.
Which of
And
course he loves. That's the only time where it even feels like it could be Damian. Because
Yeah.
Damian would be like, yeah, I'm in for this.
and then she goes up to Diana, who says, Lizzie, I forbade you, all of you. You swore oaths never to enter here, and yet you disappoint me. And the Trinity, I guess her name is what a noble farce. But like most jokes told too often, you've grown old and tired, kind of like Wonder Woman, come to think of it. But alas,
Okay.
hold on, I'm not done. We're not done. But alas, you are not Wonder Woman. And Diana says, young lady, did you really think I, of all people, would fall for your story? That I wouldn't know where you've really been? That you've broke the crone face down the Iron Army, cracked the birth prayer? that gold lasso you wear at your hip has been mine for quite some time. I know lies and I know the truth. And she goes, it's not the gold lasso that should concern you, spirit. It's the black. Who are you? Who are you? You would do all of this for a horrible man to rescue him from his well-earned punishment? You would murder me after all I've done for you? Again, and I hate repeating myself, but you just seem to love it. You are not Wonder Woman. Oh, you poor thing. How can you know? And of course, she takes her out with the lasso very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
No struggle. Just one quick,
And
But-
then she goes
Elizabeth
on to
killing
say,
Diana.
I am Elizabeth Marston
Elizabeth
Prince.
Marston.
Once again, no reason for the middle name. Champion of the Amazons, leader of the Justice League, daughter of Diana, and the first holder of the 3 lassos of fate. And then she has a conversation with this old man she was trying to break out. Once again, I'm going to go through this a little bit more in an actual video from the long box.
Okay, but micromanaging it slightly here. She goes from Valley Girl Buffy speak to talking about Noel this and that and like all this erudite crap. Consistency would be nice. If you wanted to be an annoying Valley Girl, have her be an annoying Valley Girl. If you wanted to talk like frankly the daughter of Wonder Woman should talk, then you can't do the Valley Girl crap. Pick one, please.
Yeah, it's very bad.
You're asking for consistency from Tom King. Good luck with
I-
that.
Usually he's good in the first few
I realize
issues.
the Sisyphean task I've set for myself, but god damn it.
Usually he's good in the first issues, but this time he found a way to suck at the beginning as well. So
Usually
go
kills
figure.
the child off in the first issue.
This look like a first draft of a comic. How the hell the editor passes this by and they polish, It didn't
Because
act-
by
make
George,
the
she
dialogue
is everything.
Because artistic merit is bad and sinful, don't you know? We have to deliberately subvert beauty standards and crap. So
Blenzer's
aesthetics
asking,
is forbidden.
of writing now.
Can today's artists even draw action scenes? The sun doesn't move, the earth moves, says Dave. That is true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate her,
he's
says
right,
Undead Quinn.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the
Earth
thing is, they're
moves around the sun, not the other way around.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
they're-
technically the sun rotates itself
Okay, let
as well,
LK,
so
finish the
yeah.
sentence there.
I was gonna say, I mean, there's a small chance that this turns out to be some kind of dream, fantasy, not real. But I mean, the thing is that she is brought off as so unlikable at the beginning that you can't rehab this. I mean, of course,
I instantly hate her.
Only saving grace is few people have actually going to read Wonder Woman 800. So anybody who picks up Wonder Woman #1, might have been spared this.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's god awful.
I will say one thing positive about Brian Michael Bendis. How he presented Miles Morales was great. It was a great presentation for a new superhero.
No.
Just saying that Tom King doesn't know how to do this.
It's something. Hello to Ahsoka. What's up? Have you read any Savage? I read the beginning and I wasn't very interested. That comic had more chirping than twiddles. Yeah, I got to tell you, I had little interest in reading the new Wonder Woman because it's Tom King, and now I have zero interest.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. So I know that you finished the end of it. Who do you think is the old man in the cell?
Batman.
Now, I've heard that. My first thought, because I got stuck on the whole, screw America line there at the end, that I was thinking, this is going to be Uncle Sam.
Maybe.
I was thinking it would be Steve Trevor because Wonder Woman mythos, but
it might be that too. Yeah,
Or
but there you
Superman.
go. Hey, I was going to share another one. I'm not going to do this. Actually, we're getting to the end of the day here, but Wonder Woman is not the only freaking female character that DC Comics has been messing around with.
oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
I read that.
Has anybody read this POS? This
I read.
is, yeah, it is not exactly fan friendly at all. I mean, it is. We might go through it at some point in time. My wife just came in, but this is, guys. what is up? I mean, why are we okaying this pastel freaking bad art?
Because aesthetics and beauty are social constructs, and therefore it's our moral
Yeah, I
duty to
guess so.
subvert them.
Well, I mean, I will say the art is not terrible, but it doesn't belong in a superhero book, especially what this book should be.
It reminded me of. I actually asked this of C.B. Cebulski. I said, "You are old enough to have seen Jim Lee. You're old enough to have seen Jack Kirby. You're old enough to have seen the artist renaissance. You know what good art is. So why are you trying to pass off this Steven Universe bullshit as good art? It's horrible stuff." And he gave
it's
me
worse than Steven Universe. Trust me.
He gave me a artist subjective, blah blah blah. You gotta roll with the times. Bullshit, roll with the times. You still have good artists out there. Freaking use them.
Well, this is exactly why I brought up the point earlier. They do have good artists now. They actively tell them not to draw good art. Like, you can look at people they'll get off of DeviantArt or wherever. The art they do on DeviantArt is better than the art they do professionally, because the editors and the people in charge of HR and PR tell them, oh, by the way, don't cater to the fans by giving them these idealized body proportions.
Which is something
they are
go on
the
ahead,
color
cartoons.
palette. They're trying to motivate female audience, because female audience are motivated by different palette of colors. This is basic from editorial. Everyone knows this, but you shouldn't do this in an action comic. It's like you watch an shonen anime, you see the animation, then you see a shoujo anime. The difference in the palette of colors, because females like some colors different. But this is a superhero comic. It doesn't make any sense to use this palette of colors there.
Yeah.
Well, the palette of colors could work if it was done in an aesthetically pleasing manner. I mean, look at most anime. Most anime is extremely aesthetically pleasing, regardless of its subject matter. But again, they tell them not to, because in the intersectional feminist, postmodern deconstructionalist mindset, beauty is a harmful thing, and we owe it to the world to kill it.
Look at the She-Hulk panel that's been making rounds on Twitter, like the really ugly one from the Chuck Soul run by Javier Pulido. Even like how bad it is, and then look at his other work in Robin Year One.
Yeah, his art is good in Robin Year One.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hey guys, we're gonna call it here. It's been over an hour here. I got to get tomorrow's auction all set up and ready. The job never ends. So by all means, please join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Back issues, we got them. And it is a budget auction, so prices are pretty low comparatively to those the flippers and with the CG books and all that kind of stuff. You might actually fill out your comic collection or try something new. What's up?
People are doing more back issues and bigger issues because paper is cheaper than ever.
Yeah.
I am researching for doing my comic book, and 12 years ago, when I was hired from a kids company for making Fable comics, paper was way more expensive. You need to do 1,000 or 5,000 copies. Now you can do 100 or even 50 copies really cheap and really easy. Companies, after the journal completely fell off, they're really happy to work the people who publish anything with anyone.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. And this, I think, is one of the ways to save comics is to use the cheaper paper, put out a book that's more affordable, but that's a whole other live stream. Thank you very much to Cartoons and Comics, to the Evil Black Cat, to LK and Dalton the Authenticator for joining us. Thank you guys for helping out the conversation as well, and Glenzer for the super chat. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers, guys.
Later, folks.